Good morning, everyone. We are starting the session. I would like to request everyone to please follow the protocols. Please be muted until you are asked. Use the Zoom function to communicate if needed. Kindly keep your camera on during the session, and participants can ask their questions by writing in the chat box. So students, those who are sitting in the class, you are requested to use the chat box. Thank you. A very good morning to everyone. On behalf of Billabong High International School, I would like to welcome all of you to the webinar. Today, we have Ms. Anjali Anand Seth, who will be enlightening all of us on the topic Opportunities in Canada. Ms. Anjali Anand Seth is the International Recruitment Specialist of Huron at Western University in London, Ontario, Canada. She is responsible for recruitment, admissions, and business development of the university in India. Ms. Anjali completed her undergraduate degree in political science honors from Lady Chiron College and master degree from Hindu College at Delhi University. She went on to complete an MPhil degree from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Her area of specialization was international relationship and with research on international organizations such as the United Nations. Ms. Anjali also holds a Bachelor of Education degree and a postgraduate diploma in journalism and communication. Now, without much ado, we would like to welcome our speaker, Ms. Anjali Anand Seth. Thank you.
Thank you so much for such a warm welcome. Look forward to interacting with all of you and your students. My special gratitude to Ms. Preeti for connecting with me on this. And I hope I'm able to do justice to the time that the school has allocated to me and justice to the time of the staff and the students. As you rightly introduced me, I am the International Admissions Advisor of Huron University. We are located in city of London. I always joke, yes, there's a second London in the world. So I often joke with students that when you are booking your tickets for attending the university, make sure you come to the right London in the right country. Don't book yourself for UK London. We are about within 2 hours driving distance from Toronto. A bit about myself, what makes me responsible for giving out information to you today is my almost close to about 12 years of background in Canadian education. I have worked for a lot of universities. Presently, of course, for past 3 years, I've been with this university, but almost 12 years, I have been associated with education in Canada. So what I'm going to do is that I understand that the level of understanding of students about education abroad or education in Canada could be different. So I'm just going to take it from the start. And if you have any questions regarding anything about any university in Canada, I will be happy to provide you with the best of my knowledge here. I'm just going to share my screen. All right. And, okay. So talking about Canada, I'm sure there are some of you who will be thinking about studying in India. Some of you might even be considering education abroad. And of course, when you're considering education abroad, there are a lot of countries that come to your mind. My take on education in Canada, I will talk about in a little while, but just to give you a friendly advice here that whenever you're looking at education abroad, please keep a lot of things in mind. Most important is that one, what is the country giving you in terms of good education? When I talk about good education, I will teach you as to how to look for a university abroad. The other is you will be spending a lot of money, for your education abroad, and it should be financially viable. One. The other is that you should be able to achieve something in return besides good education. The country should be welcoming. The country should be open for you to stay back, work there in future. So those are the things that sometimes we do not consider when we are considering education in Canada. When we are considering education abroad. Canada, specifically talking about Canada, was not very popular with students until about a decade ago, if I could say that. That the primary reason was that a lot of people did not know about Canada, and I always thought that Canada was too far. Well, we are the northern neighbors of USA, so we can't be as far as if US is far, Canada is as far. Let's just say it like that. So let's talk a little bit about geography there. It is the second largest country in the world, but the amazing thing is that it has a lot of aging population. Besides that, it has very limited population. So often I joke with students in Delhi that the entire population of Canada is 2 Delhis. So you can imagine how less number of people are there, which is why Canada opened its borders to international students, not just to come and study there, but also to live there. It is one of the most beautiful countries I have seen. The sky has never been more blue than when as young kids, when we used to make pictures, and we used to always have the blue crayon that we used to use. That's how blue the sky is. I come back to India and I always see it gray. So that's something that is very pleasing to the eye when you see those blue skies. You can drink water straight out of the tap because Canada is home to 3 biggest freshwater lakes in the world. You don't have to worry about RO or cleaning of your water. And of course, the quality of life. Simply put, why Canada? One, it is ranked as the #1 country in the world for quality of life. When I talk about quality of life, I do not just mean in terms of talking about a lot of free space or a lot of help at hand. I'm also talking in terms of safety. It is one of the country which is considered one of the safest country in the world to live. Of course, very warm and welcoming, I could say that. The most important aspect here is that, the most important aspect here is that you are able to, enjoy the kind of freedom, that you expect, because there are a lot of privacy laws, yes, but you are not told in that sense of what exactly to do. You are guided well by not just your teachers, the professors, but also people at hand. So they're very warm and friendly people. When I say world-class education, I mean that there are no bad choices when you're choosing, university in Canada, because our entire system is public. All universities, 90 plus universities in Canada, majority of them are all public, government-funded institutions. So you don't have to really worry about where you are going to go. Most important, as I mentioned, freedom to work during and after your studies. So each semester at your university is going to be 4 months long. You do not have 6-month semesters. So you're practically studying for only 8 months in a year, which is counted as 1 year of study. The rest of the 4 months are work semesters. Students at the university can work while they are studying. So government allows you 20 hours per week to work along with your study. And during your off semesters, you're allowed to work for 40 hours per week. In Ontario province, I will talk a little bit about provinces later, but in Ontario province, you can earn up to $14.25 in Ontario per hour. If your math is good, just multiply it by 60 and you will understand the kind of money that you can make. Yes, it is not easy to earn that. You have to develop some skills, which is where the university that you choose need to give you certain facilities to develop those skills to be employable in the job market. But most important is the factor that it caters for your living expenses. So for all the students whose parents say that the education is expensive, let me assure you, it is far less expensive than some of the other countries in the world. And of course, because it allows you to work as you're a student, you're able to cater to at least your living expenses. Canada is a federation of 10 provinces, what we call states in India. and 3 territories. And every single province is known for something different. So whenever you're choosing a university in Canada, look at what kind of industry you want to work in. For example, Ontario province is known for business and IT. It is known for technical industry. It is known for journalism, communications, those kinds of industry. Moment you go to Alberta, it is known more for its petrochemical industry. You come to Saskatchewan or Manitoba, which is, if you read in geography, those are the prairies. It is known for agricultural industries. So depending on what kind of industry you want to work in and which defines your degree, make sure that you choose that province, because just getting a degree is not enough. Getting a job later is also important. So you need to be in a province which caters to that particular job market. The Canadian university system is very different from some of the other countries. In India, you have colleges and you have universities, and those colleges are associated with universities. In Canada, the system is very different. You have primarily public universities, 96 of them, which offer over 15,000 courses. And these, what you term as course, we call it programs. And education is primarily a provincial responsibility, which means every province will have its own rules and regulations as far as education is concerned. And institutions have a lot of autonomy in terms of their admissions and academic policies. Now, why is all that important to you as a student? It is important to you as a student because when you're going to be choosing what kind of degree that you're going to be doing, your choice will be between a college and a university. A college in Canada programs or certificates. Be 2 years, which could be 2 years or 3 years. However, if you want to work in the hotel industry, but you want to work at a higher level, or you want to get into marketing, you want to get into financial department at a hotel industry. Hotel industry is not just about the front desk or checking in at the hotel. There is a lot of work that goes on at a different level. So if you want to get into a higher managerial jobs in the hotel industry, you will have to consider doing a 4-year degree program in business or marketing as your major, or whatever department you want to get in data, and then pick up jobs in the hotel industry. So for that, you need to go to a university, not a college. Similar thing is when students come and ask me, I want to become, do journalism. And is there a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism? In Canada, it works differently again. In Canada, if you're wanting to work in the field of journalism, you first need to have your initial degree in the field in which you wish to, become a journalist in. So I want to become a political analyst or a political journalist. I need to do a degree in political science. And then I will go and do a 1-year diploma in journalism and communication and work in the news industry, or whether it is print or visual. So that is how the system is divided. There are very few private degree offering institutions. My suggestion to you would be, if you want to make your degree work across the world, get into a public institution instead of a private institution. So generally how the system works is when you're applying to a university, your first year is very broad-based study. What it means is, I will not tell you what to study. You will tell me what you want to study. You pick up a whole lot of courses. Like at my university, we will offer you 90 plus courses in the first year, and we will ask you to choose any 10. So how interdisciplinary the education is that even if you are not studying any science courses, but you're interested in it, you can take it at a university, even if you've not studied it at grade 11 and 12. So you can combine science courses with business courses, with humanities courses, social science courses, anything that you have interest in. And as you go in your upper year, in your second year, you streamline it. It's like a funnel. You streamline it to your interest. I often, again, use a lot of everyday examples for students. And I say, it's like you going for a buffet meal where a whole spread is put out to you. You pick up every single dish little by little. You taste it, you understand which one's better than the other. And when you go back for your second helping, you always tend to pick up the dish that you liked more. The similar thing is university education is like a buffet meal. First year, go all out, get a taste of everything. And second year, go back to your academic advisor and tell them what is it that interests you so that you're able to make your degree either one subject focused or even multi or interdisciplinary education. But how do you find your right fit? I mean, sounds very good that I can do a lot of things, but how do I do that? That's the big question as a student and even as a parent. I always tell students, ask the right question. If you do not ask the right question, you will not get the right answer. So while you are asking about location and ranking and all that, believe me, those questions do not matter because all universities in Canada are government universities. There are no bad choices. You need to find your right fit. The education in Canada is not like one glove fits all hands. That's not the way it is. What is the right question that you need to ask? As a university representative and somebody who will sit over your applications if you ever choose to come to my university, what kind of questions should you be asking me? One, what is the student-faculty ratio? Do you have larger classes or do you have smaller classes? So some of the big comprehensive institutions in Canada which admit a lot of students, the class size could range from a minimum of 150 students in one class, can go up to about 1,000 plus students in the same class. Are you the kind of student who can study in that kind of an environment and still make your mark? Or are you the kind of student who likes a more personalized attention? Second, what is the average class size in the first and the second year? Am I allowed to pick up courses in, and is the university flexible, or is it going to be, making you follow a certain career path because it is easier for them to fix things for you rather than asking you what is your interest? So how much flexibility do you get to explore those courses? More important, as I said earlier, because there are 10 provinces, you need to understand what kind of industry is there. So ask those questions. What are the main industries that are available? I want to get into the IT sector, but main industries in a province are all petrochemical engineering. That's not the state I want to be in. I want to be in a state where you find more IT or more business or more corporates, etc. More importantly is the university allowing you the freedom to connect with people at the university? Are you able to talk to their students? Because student to student interaction, you will always get to learn more than maybe an official interaction with an admissions or a recruitment advisor. Am I allowed to connect with my faculty? Am I allowed to connect with the students? Because this is something that is important to you. You need to have all information before you take that decision. Again, important question as far as faculty is concerned. In Canada, all university professors must have a PhD to be full-time workers. Educators are some of the highest paid people in Canada. You need to ask, are you going to be taught by a professor, or are you going to be taught by a teacher's assistant or a PhD student who comes back in the first year to teach? Because if you are going to a big comprehensive universities which offers master's and PhD programs, likelihood is that the first year students will not be taught by PhD professors because they are busy with their PhD students or master degree students, because research becomes an important component at universities. So talk to admissions advisor and ask who is teaching you. A lot of times universities, will tell you that we have, professors who are Nobel laureates. Are those Nobel laureates coming and teaching you? Because if they're not coming and teaching you, likelihood is that your experience at the university is going to be a lot different than what you imagined or saw on the website. You're leaving your country and you're going very far. Your parents are sending you to very far away places. Question that you need to ask is, what kind of support system is the university giving you? Are they guiding you as to how to come to Canada? Are they guiding you or helping you with with moving into the residence? Because you're in a new country, you don't know anybody, you will require help. Is help easily available or not? That was the thing. Students who are very pro, sports, or are very active in their co-curricular activities, when you're looking at university, go ahead and check what kind of clubs or what kind of sporting facilities do they offer. Obviously, you would want to take that talent to Canada also, and maybe participate in similar co-curricular activities. If the university is not providing you those facilities, then I think it's time that you need to look at another university. For parents specifically, I think one needs to work out, because you're going to be looking at financials. You need to understand what is the average living cost in the country. So my take on cost of living in Canada is that there are MTV cities. Now, MTV, everybody knows, is the music channel. I call it Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver. These are some of the most expensive cities in Canada. So if you are budgeting your education, and when I talk about budgeting your education, what I mean is, and this is something that you need to absorb when you're understanding the system, is that for Canadians, the people who have permanent residency, PR as we call it, the tuition fee they pay at each university is the same. They will be paying the same tuition fee at University of Toronto, UBC, Waterloo, McMaster, Huron. It is the same. But international students pay different fee for different universities. Now, this is something that most of the people would not tell you, but go ahead and see, when you look up the website, see what an international student is paying at different universities. For the same course, you will pay a different fee at Huron, you'll pay a different fee at Toronto, you'll pay a different fee at UBC. So a higher fee structure is not the criteria for the institution being better. It is just that it is charging you more, because the kind of funding that the university gets from the government is probably being used for master's and PhD degree students rather than giving you scholarships, which automatically brings me to the next question. What kind of scholarship is being offered by the university becomes an important factor for you, should become an important factor for you, not because it is helping you balance the expense. Scholarships are offered. There is a difference between scholarship and financial aid. Scholarships are offered to honor your academic and co-curricular achievement. Financial aid is offered to help you balance the investments that you're making, because it's about affordability. That is how it is. So make sure that you are able to understand that difference, even if you might not need a scholarship, to help you balance. As a scholarship student, you are well recognized by your professors, and that becomes important for you to not just get opportunities on campus, but even jobs later, because your professors are the one who write you recommendation letters when you're going to go and seek jobs. Now, university system, how does it work? What exactly are required in Canada? Again, it is little different from each institution. So I'm going to give you a generalized view here. First, more important is you do require your official transcripts. Now, whether you are in an A level or you are in an IB curriculum or a national curriculum, you do require a predicted score to be submitted to the university for them to review your application for admission. So your grade 10 marks, if you're doing the IGCSE or whatever curriculum you're doing, and of course, your British A-level courses that will be required. Different universities have different criteria. What should be your grade? Do check the university website to understand whether you are eligible to meet an application or not. Again, my advice here would be, do not spread yourself thin. If the university says that that is the minimum they require for you to make an application, do not choose the university if you're not within their stipulated requirement. Nobody likes getting a reject letter or no information at all. It will add to your anxiety. Most of the universities will follow the advice they have given as their admission requirement for the students. There are certain prerequisite courses. For example, while I say that it is multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary, sometimes what happens is that for certain courses, math could be a compulsory requirement. So make sure that you check what are the requirements at the university before you apply for a certain program. Those who are looking for a Bachelor of Science program, sometimes math and physics becomes mandatory for students to apply for that particular program. Some universities will make math compulsory for students if you're applying for a business program under a business faculty. Standardized testing, whether it is SAT or ACT, is very rare. Most of the Canadian universities don't ask for it. It is more of a US thing. However, if you have taken that exam, do submit it and you're proud of the result that you got, to submit those tests, because it might happen that sometimes your exam did not go well, your regular school exam did not go well, and if you've taken an SAT in which you did score better, it is easier for you to explain to the university that, you know, I just didn't do well in that exam, but you can look at my SAT or ACT results and I did better. So it's completely your choice. Proof of English language or language proficiency is not required. You all are studying in an English medium school where instruction and examination medium is English. But what the university rule says is that you should have studied in an English medium institution for the last 4 years of your school, specifically in your last year. I do know that a lot of students in A levels tend to drop English. I do not know whether that is the at your school or not. Some schools in Delhi, I have noticed students drop English because they think that, you know, you can drop English and then take the IELTS results to balance that out. That is also acceptable at a lot of universities, which is okay for you, but depending on what rules and regulations prevail in your school, my advice would be do not drop any subject, because most universities in Canada will be looking at English and 4 other academic subjects to assess your grades or your percentages. If you've taken advanced placement tests, that will give you credit. Some universities will ask for 4 or 5 in those advanced placement tests. Similarly, is with your A-level scores, you might get some credit for courses in which you score A or an A star. But this again differs from one university to the other. What exactly does university, terminology means? Now, I know a lot of students when they're studying in India, they think of BBA and BCom are the only business degrees that are available, there. However, their degree name could change from different universities. For example, at Huron, we don't call our degrees BBA or BCom, our business degrees. We call it Management and Organizational Studies, primarily because the scope of the program is far more broad-based and in-depth than what a regular BBA or BCom degree could give you. So don't just go on the name of the degree. It's a good idea to read what they are teaching. And every university has an academic calendar. So check the academic calendar of the university, which is very readily available on their website, where you not only understand what they teach, you also understand how in-depth a degree could go to. So if you've chosen, say, economics as your program, it will tell you whether economics as a program is offered as a minor, a major, or a specialization. So minor would mean a lesser number of credits. You are studying not the program, not very in-depth, but you gain a very good you comprehend the subject matter a lot. But major means which becomes your primary area of study. And of course, within the major, if you choose to specialize, do research in it, it is called honors specialization. So the number of courses that you do within that particular program increases. Okay. How does Canada work in terms of work? You are taking a good education. You are going to a good university. The purpose is not just good education. The purpose is also whether I will be allowed to continue in that particular institution afterwards, to work at that institution or work in the country. So what does the Canadian government offer you? Let's talk about degrees first. Again, when you're choosing a degree or a university, make sure you check whether within that particular course, are you being offered, experiential learning. Almost all programs in Canada at universities will have some kind of an experiential learning. Now, experiential learning is generally inbuilt in certain universities in the programs. Otherwise, you will often hear words like co-op or internships being offered. There's a difference between co-op and internship. Very quickly, I will explain that. Both are work practical experience at the university. The difference is, while internship can be done during your period as a student, during your study semester, I mentioned these semesters for 4 months, while those can be done during your semesters, co-op is done only during the off semester. So when you are not in class, you're outside of class, not because you got punishment, but you're outside of class means that it is not a study semester. You can do co-op. And co-op generally begins either after third semester or in your third year of university, whereas internships could begin as early as the first year or the first semester itself. The other is research projects. Some of the universities which offer you research opportunities at an undergraduate level, like Chiron does, there are opportunities to earn while you research. So you become a research assistant with a professor, or research funding is provided to you at the university. Could range, I can only talk about my university. At my university, it could range anything between 1,500 to 6,000 Canadian dollars. So do look up that also within your program. Canada at present is the only country in the world which is giving you the longest duration of work permit after you graduate. But not just that, it also allows you to work on or off campus while you're a student. Students who are going to Singapore will get to know that Singapore government does not allow you to work while you're a student. Some countries will not allow you to work during your study semesters, but allow you to work during your off semesters. But Canada allows you presently to work while you're a student, on and off campus also. When I say on campus, there are universities which will specially curate jobs for international students because they understand that you do not have any connects in the country. So you need more help than the local students, local Canadian students. So it allows you to gain Canadian work experience. Believe me, why I'm stressing on that is, in Canada, it doesn't matter where you study. What will matter is what experience did you have while you were a student. When I will employ a student in Canada, I will not ask them which university they went to. I know in India and in the US, it matters where you go. At an undergraduate level in Canada, it doesn't matter. What will matter is how you built your resume. What kind of Canadian work experience have you had? Have you done internships and co-op? So that will matter. So when you approach for a job, they're not going to ask you where you studied. Maybe that will be a question which is fourth or fifth down the line, the interview. The first thing is probably going to say is, okay, you went to a good university, you got good grades. Tell me, what else did you do besides study? So it's very important for you to balance your good education with good work practicum, which will build your resume. Most of the universities which offer you co-op or internship will help you get at least 1 to 1.5 years of work experience by the time you graduate. And I'm talking about this at an undergraduate level. So make sure that you choose your country while there. Talking about what the Canadian government is offering you as a student, I think what is important here is that you need to understand that you're looking at the next 7 years of your life. So students who are in grade 12 right now, taking their final exams next year, need to start applying in the month of October. Almost all universities will open their application by first week of October. You apply 1 year in advance. So when you're going to be applying to whichever school, we call it school, in your terminology, it is a university or a college, whichever institution you apply for. You apply, you get admission, then you apply for your study permit or visa as it is called. And once you receive your study permit, you obviously fly into the university in the country and you work on and off campus as a student. After you finish your 4-year degree program, you will be eligible for an automatic post-grad work permit, which is 3 years. As I mentioned, Canada is the only country in the world which is giving full 3 years of work permit if you are doing your bachelor's degree from there. If you're going to a college to do a diploma, your work permit depends on the duration of your diploma. If it's 1-year diploma, you get 1 year of work permit. 2-year diploma, you could get 2 or 3 years, depending on what diploma that you have done. So you get your postgrad work permit and you're allowed to continue living in the country. You can come back to India, you can go back to Canada. So for the next 7 years of your life, you are looking at not only studying and working in the country, but maybe in future making it your home. Again, the rules of postgrad work permit are enshrined in the Constitution of Canada. So it does not change with the change of government. To explain this to you, in the US, when one government came in, they changed the rules of international students as to who could come in and who could get what kind of work permit. The similar thing happened in UK. In Canada, that will not change whether Justin Trudeau wins the next elections or not. It will remain the same. So you are guaranteed a full 3 years of work permit. You don't have to worry about whether what rules the next government is going to bring in. Once you finish your education of 4 years and you get your 3 years of work permit, after you complete your first year of full-time work experience, I'm not talking part-time, full-time 1 year of work experience, you are allowed to apply for permanent residency. And generally, I have seen that students, once they complete their 3 years of work permit, they do get their permanent residency. The difference between a permanent resident and a Canadian citizen are only two. One, that the permanent resident does not have the right to vote. And the second is that you do not get a Canadian passport. But 2 or 3 years of you being a permanent resident makes you eligible to apply for a Canadian passport also. Rest, everything is similar. So after you complete your bachelor's, if you want to go and do your master's, my suggestion would be get your permanent residency first and then apply for master's degree program, because then your tuition fee will be the same what a Canadian pays, and generally it is 1/3 of the cost. To give you a simple example, most of the undergraduate degrees will range between anything between 25,000 Canadian dollars, depending on what program you're doing, can go up to as high as 60,000 Canadian dollars for an international student. But the same degree will be a standardized cost of $8,000 to $10,000 for a Canadian and a permanent resident. The reason for that is because Canadians pay a lot of taxes, towards education. That's something that you need to look into. Okay, moving on. I'm going to talk about a little bit about Ontario province, because my university is in Ontario, and Ontario does have 21 of the 90 plus universities. So it is very university focused. Almost close to 48% of Canada's international students come to Ontario, which also goes on to show as to the kind of investment that the government makes towards education. So all the big names that you hear, they are all located in Ontario province. When you're making your application to any university in Ontario, you need to make the application on the OUAC platform. It's a one common application platform called Ontario University Application Center. You can apply on the same application. You can apply to 3 programs or 3 universities for a standard, fee of about, $200. So how do you start making your application? You apply, make your account on OUAC. They will send you an email to verify your account. Most of the applications, as I mentioned, open, in first week of October. Some will open their applications in mid-September. If you're applying to more than one university in Ontario, it is advisable to make the Ontario University application. So you can, for a base application fee of approximately $200, you can apply to 3 programs in any of the universities in Canada, Ontario. So for example, you're choosing, say, Huron, but you're applying to 2 programs at Huron, it will be counted as 2 applications. So you're then eligible for only 1 more application, which is within the base fee. For any addition you make, you have to pay another $50 to increase either the university or the program. So it's a good idea to research well before you start making the application. Generally, you do not need to upload your documents on the OUAC. When your application is received by the university, they will send you information about it, that we've received it. You may now submit your documents or provide you a link where you upload the documents. So you have to send individually to each university your transcripts when you are making the application. In some schools, the predicted scores are not shared by the school with their student. If that being the case at your school also, then your counselor needs to send it directly either to the university, or if you can share your password with your counselor, then the counselor can upload it on your system. If you are looking at only one university in Ontario, for example, if you're only looking at Huron, from where I come from, you do not need to make a OUAC application. Just make a direct application to Huron. But this is only if you're looking at only one university in Ontario. You might be looking at other universities across Canada, but in Ontario, you're looking at only one university. You may make a direct application for just $50 application fee. Once you have made the initial application and you've received your offer letter, there are universities which will allow you to apply for additional scholarships. So some of the scholarships that are given could be automatic, while some other scholarships you will have to apply for. So once you received an offer letter, we call it LOA, letter of acceptance, that you've received, you may apply for additional scholarships. Please bear this in mind, that there are deadlines stipulated by each university for their scholarships. So be within those deadlines, because after those deadlines, you cannot apply for your scholarship. Do not wait for your final results to be out before you apply for scholarships. Apply for it. Make the application on the basis of your predicted scores. You can always update your predicted scores if you scored better in the subsequent mock tests when those are taken, but make an early application, because majority of the universities will close their application by January 15th. It begins from mid-September or first week of October, and they close their applications by January 15th. It's a good idea to understand those deadlines also. Moving on to what kind of scholarships that you could apply. Each university will have a different kind of scholarship that they offer. Could be merit-based, which is based on your predicted scores. It could be need-based also. So some universities will offer you financial aid, or they offer you scholarship based on your extracurricular activities. There are certain special scholarships that some universities offer, that you can apply for. They might require a school nomination, so it's a good idea to check and apprise your school counselor or the principal to nominate your name for that particular scholarship. And of course, Indian government also offers certain scholarships for students to study abroad. What makes you get a scholarship? So I'm going to speak now as an admissions advisor to tell you, how do we grant scholarships? Never rely, as I have written on my slide, never rely on a title or a certificate alone. And I'm going to give you very candid examples here. You might be a student council member. You might be the captain of sports team. You might be the leader in your school choir. You might be a great pianist or a guitarist or a singer. That is, and you might have won a lot of awards. while that personal achievement is valued, I need to know your story. I need to understand why you took part in a certain activity that you did. What is it that you gained out of participating in that activity? Don't look only for certificate. And I join a club, my ma'am is going to give me a certificate. Great, it will look great on my application. We go through a lot of applications in the entire year, thousands of applications that we get. So we are able to understand whether the certificate that you had was only for your university application, or you really did contribute, to your to that particular activity. So tell me your story. I am happy understanding and reading your story, even if you did not win a certificate. You don't have to be on the stage for me to understand the value that you gained out of that particular activity, or how passionate you are about a certain cause, for me to understand. Aside from your academics, what strengthens your application is your extracurricular activities. Your academic scores define you as a student. It is your co-curricular activities which define you as a person. So I'm more interested to understand your character building and you as a person if I am giving you more scholarships, not just based on your academics. So for all the students who think they're not doing too well at the university, at the school, but have great co-curricular profile, please start making a profile, a resume of your co-curricular activities, and submit that to the universities, who will give you scholarship based on your co-curriculum. How should you be writing that co-curriculum? One, you need to give me the breadth of activities. You might be a very good MUNer, you might be a very good debater, might be a very good sports person, but don't just stick there. Participate in as many things. So all those who are in grade 9 and 10 right now, participate in as many activities that you can. Go volunteer. Tell your ma'am, I want to participate. Okay? Because it is a good learning exercise. So be involved in whole lot of extracurricular activities. But once you're in grade 11 and 12, whatever activities that you like, go in depth. So it's like a T. The 9th and 10th, it should be horizontally. And the moment you come in grade 11 and 12, start making it vertical, go in depth. Make me understand what significant impact have you had through that activity, not only in your community, in your peers, but on your personal life. Most important, be authentic. As I said, university admissions advisor go through hundreds of essays. So you can make out whether a student is being authentic or is just writing for the heck of writing. Because if I am little confused, I will come back and ask you questions, and your answers will tell me whether you participated only for a certificate or you actually felt closer to that cause that you were championing in that particular club. Relate your passion to your achievement. And your achievement does not always mean success. Your achievement could also be overcoming challenges. I am not interested only in you telling me that I won so many awards. I'm also interested in knowing where is it that you failed or you did not achieve the desired results, because your failures will define you more as a person than your success. You will always want to, like the old saying goes, it's not about falling. It's about falling and getting up and learning how to walk better, which will define you as a person. Most important, how has that challenge shaped you? What learnings did you get? So make sure that you tell your story to me, rather than putting it in bullet points of how many certificates did you win. For me, a student standing on the stage is as important as one standing behind the scenes, helping that student standing on the stage winning. Because the one who is on the stage is, of course, going to win or lose as per their performance. It's more about their personal success. But the one standing behind the curtain is looking at the success of their peers. So you're looking at teamwork, communication is as important. I hope I'm making sense here. Very briefly as to my university, Huron at Western is among the top 8 universities of Canada. We are located, as I mentioned, in the city of London, which is 1.5 hour driving distance from Toronto. We have an international airport, which is from Toronto. It is just a 19-minute flight, 19-minute flight. What you're reading here is called Leaders with Heart. We are very different from a lot of universities. Reason being because we genuinely believe that there's a leader in every single student. Every single student has the capability of becoming a leader, is what we are aiming to make you. But what is missing out in the world today is that we have leaders, but they do not have compassion, they do not have empathy, they do not connect with the people they lead. Connecting is going to make you successful, and this is what Huron hopes to teach you if you choose. We are primarily business and liberal humanities. What I mean is that we will offer you multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary approach to education. Students, we might not have studied at subjects as you like, and come back to us and say, this is what I like. Now in the second year, I think I'm ready to do this. So first year is completely your choice. You can choose not just the subjects that you want. You can even choose, what time of the day or the week would you like to attend a class. If you're not a Monday morning person, early morning person like me, you can choose the same class at 1:30 and the day that you go. You don't have to go to the university every day. Your timetable could be that you go to university to study on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That's your timetable. So we help you. Our academic advisor will help you with that. We also offer double majors and dual degrees, which can be completed within 4 years time period as a double major, and dual degrees within 5 years. Most important for us is the distinct advantage that you have at Huron. Now, this distinct advantage is, of course, that we are only undergraduate focused. Our university does not offer master's and PhD programs. It offers only undergraduate programs, which brings me back to the initial point I was trying to drive, is that because at the university, it is mandatory for PhD professors to teach. It is PhD professors who are teaching you. And again, one of the rules of Canada is that all PhD professors must publish a research paper every 5 years to maintain their jobs. So for those research papers, they employ the undergraduate students at Huron to help them in their research. So a lot of times, students, it depends on what kind of help they provide to the professors, actually go on to get their names published in that research paper at an undergraduate level, at master's, at the bachelor's degree level. We provide a lot of personalized support and culture of care. Briefly putting it, we pick up every single student from Toronto airport, every single one of them. Even as we speak, till last night, I was on my phone till 1:30 in the night trying to figure out as to a student has landed at Toronto, whether somebody's come to pick them up or not. We've took care of their quarantine. A lot of countries are saying quarantine is compulsory. A student did not have to pay a penny of staying at a hotel where they had to quarantine, meal plan, everything was taken care of. And we do that for every single international student. So right from your application all the way till you fly out of the country. And even when you reach there in Canada, there will be somebody to support you. Couple of things that we are known for. We offer guaranteed paid internship to every single student, irrespective of the program. It is not limited only to science students, and it is not limited to students in certain business programs, etc. It is offered in every single, and when I say guaranteed, it is 100% that it will be offered to you. The reason why we are able to do that is because what comes in the next slide is the number of students we take each year, as part of the admitted students. We have a very powerful career and alumni connection. There is exclusive partnership that we have. 85% of Canada's Fortune 500 companies have Huron graduates sitting in leadership positions. The top 3 companies of Canada, Galen Weston, Rogers Communication, and Sobeys, all have Huron graduates sitting in leadership positions. The reason why we are able to do all that is because, unlike some of the other universities where you'll find 200 to 1,000 students, and this is what some of the classes might look like. If it shocks you, it shocked me also the first time that I clicked that photograph, is the guy that you see here is probably the professor. These are the drop-down screens where you will see him. These are 3 whiteboards which move up and down when he's taking those classes. And this was the first year math class. Math is a subject which is taken not just by science students, it is taken by business students and some of the art students who are going to be studying maybe psychology program or economics program will also be taking math class. I think there were over 1,000, 1,200 students in that particular class. This kind of learning style is not a very effective learning, but that's why I said, ask the right question. What we take pride in is the number, which is 33. So your average class size at Huron would never be more than 30 to 33 students in each class. As you go in the upper class sizes, it will further reduce because everybody takes their own area of specialization. For us, student is not a number. It is the name of the student. So I will personally know the name of every single student. In fact, we have this great activity in the first week of orientation week when we have is where professors are challenged to learn the names of every single student. If they do not, pass the test, then they have to treat every student, the entire class, to a dinner, which is a fun activity that we do. But what it also helps is that as an international student, when you go out to another foreign country where you don't know anybody, if you hear your name being called in the corridor, believe me, it is a very gratifying experience. It is a very satisfying experience that people know me, and that when you go and talk to another staff member, they don't ask you, what is your student number? They're more interested to know your name rather than you being just a student number. I already mentioned this, that we pick up every single student. We will help you in your first week itself to not just organize free trips to Niagara Falls, beach party, etc., but we'll take care of your bank account, your shopping, your moving into residence, everything. Guaranteed paid internship I'd already spoken about is that you get in some of the well-known companies that are mentioned here, and not just within London City or Canada, could be abroad also. Two distinct things about Huron. Huron is the only university in Ontario and one of the 2 in Canada to partner with Harvard Business School. Harvard saves 20 seats for Huron students every year. Goes on to speak how high quality students we produce, that Harvard is saving seats for Huron students. The other thing that we are known for is the Ivy Business School. Western is home to the Ivy Business School. The numbers that you see there are representative of the percentage of students who've got a job after graduating from Ivy. Within 3 months of graduating, 96% of students got a job. And the average starting salary of an Ivy graduate, and mind you, this is a bachelor's degree, not a master's degree, was 70,000 Canadian dollar. And because we're a public university, you're most welcome to look up the Ivy Employment Report, which will give you details of what kind of salary packages the students have received. Last but not the least, why a certain university is better than the other? Primarily because your CV should define you not just as a good student, but as a good employee to take in. So when you're going to go out in the job market, as I mentioned, your degree or limited exposure to your student club or volunteering would not help. It is your experiences at the university which make you employed in Canada. One slide which shows that a kind of companies and the designations that present Huron students who graduated from Huron are holding. The head of industry at Google, New York City, is a Huron graduate. He studied BA Economics, primarily breaking the myth that to get into companies, IT companies, you have to do computer science. That is not the way it is. You can mix and match your degrees to make your degree employable long after you have graduated. Remember this, that you are preparing for careers of lifetime, not a lifetime of career. Your parents were taken a job from where they will retire. The way things are going in the world, chances are that you will change for careers and not just for jobs. So make your degree worthwhile once, and choose well. We offer very generous scholarships. The scholarships could range between 4,000 to 100,000 Canadian dollars. So from 4,000 to 60,000 Canadian dollars is given automatically based on your predicted scores and your co-curricular activities. Simply multiply it by 60, you will understand what kind of it is in Indian rupees. But more importantly is the International Presidential Scholarship of 100,000 Canadian dollar. This is given to only 10 students across the globe. And I'm very proud to state that every year, the number of Indian students getting it increases. So when the first year we launched it 3 years ago, we gave it to 2 Indian students. It went on to get into 3. And this year, 50% of those scholarships came to Indian students. So it's a great opportunity to make an application for these. Of course, you require very high academic scores to make that application. We require a school nomination for it. I can always talk to your counselor or principal about it later. But if you think that you might have a good chance at getting it, do make an application. You never know. You might be the one getting the $100,000 scholarship. Okay, I'm going to stop here. And I'm not sure if the time allows me because I'm way past 11 o'clock right now. So in case you wish to know more about the university or you wish to write to me about it, am I allowed to share my email ID here, sir?
We would share it because we have the counselor on board, Shikha. So we will just advise as to how it has to be shared.
Okay.
So
okay.
Yeah. So we will.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't put it in the chat box, right?
Yeah. If we can just avoid, we'll just because we just wanted students to be familiar with the geographies.
Sure.
Any wrap up advice or the next steps?
I think only for grade 12 students right now that they need to start looking at application process because Canadian universities will begin their application process, as I mentioned, first week of October. And those who are looking at education abroad, they need to start being given their predicted scores. And however the school decides to do that, because predicted scores will be required for assessment and review of applications. So that needs to be done.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Anjali. And we have a formal thank you note by Shonit.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This session was very informative, and I'm sure everyone must have been amazed to know more about the opportunities in Canada. Our heartfelt gratitude to our founder and CEO, Mrs. Preeti Agrawal, for organizing such webinars, which kindles in us the curiosity to explore more. We convey our heartfelt gratitude to our speaker, Mrs. Anjali Anand Seth, for the dynamic talk. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and good luck to all of you. I'm sure you're all meant to do great things. Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you, Ms. Preeti. Thank you. Bye.